Hey everybody, RC here. Welcome back to Let's Play Dwarf Fortress tutorial. And we will pick up where we left off. And let's see, we are Anviltrumpets in this fortress. So where we left off, we're kind of clearing out our outside of these ramps. We've got a bridge, a drawbridge going in, and we're digging out two more areas. We're going to double click on the wagon and see we still have quite a bit out here. So we need to get our miners started. So they're coming in, and you can see the snow just melted. And we can actually see a few things going on out here. There's that giant echidna that we had seen earlier. Not bothering us right now. We have our guys digging out the area. And we can't tell the difference, but here we have clay floor, clay, and then siltstone. So we're clay up to this point, clay, clay. Alright, so it looks like just about up to, except for these last two lines here, we have soil. So that's good. We'll let that finish getting dug out. I'm just trying to figure out where to put some things in here. They're digging out, as you remember me saying in the previous episode, make sure that outer wall stays intact. Let's see. Let them finish digging and then we'll pause it out a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to build our farm plots, get our food production up and running. So we are going to build, oh wait, let's see. Yes, okay, so we're going to build, and then we're going to build a farm plot. And that's right here. So P, so B and then P. And then you use these keys here to change the height and the width. So you can see that turns into a 3x3. Now we have 5 high. So I'm going to go ahead and make mine 3x5. And I want to go up to the door. So let's widen it one more. We'll put a 4x5 there. And then we'll hit P again. Now that's red because we already have one placed there. And then watch what happens right here when I move over. You see that one spot disappears? And if I go over one more, then the whole row disappears. That's because that's stone and we cannot grow there. So I want to grow here. We'll leave this area for walking purposes. We will be one short there, but that's okay. So we'll hit enter to place it. So now we have 2 farm plots. Now what I'm going to build is a food stockpile, so P, and then F for food. And I'm going to use my arrows to get over, and I'm going to hit enter one time again so that flashes, and then go. You don't want to cover up the farm plot, but so I'm going to go up in just that section there, and you can see we've made a stockpile. So we're going to come out of that. I'm going to hit Q for that stockpile, and we're going to go in and change the settings. Now you can see under food, using our up and down arrows, all of these foods that are highlighted are allowed. Now in this food stockpile, because it's in with my planting area, all I want is seeds. So I am going to block all with B, and everything turns dark. I'm going to use my up and down keys to find seeds, and then I'm going to hit P to permit seeds. So all seeds are now permitted in this stockpile. I could further go over with my right arrow, and then I could hit enter individually to toggle off whatever I don't want, or I can block all of those. I can forbid seeds and then just hit enter on the ones that I want. And I may do that at some point, but for right now I only have a couple of types of seeds, so we're going to just allow anything. And then when we're done, we're going to escape to get out of that. And that will bring seeds into here. And I want to put another stockpile, so P and F, and we're going to put another stockpile here, so we hit enter again to get it blinking, and we're just going to put a little strip there, again not covering up any of the farm plots. When we get out of that, we're going to hit Q and settings again, go to food, block all with B, go down over and then down to seeds, permit seeds, P. We're going to escape. Now right here, I don't want to allow any barrels here, so you can use E and R to move it by 1, and then Shift E, Shift R to min-max it. So Shift E changes it to 0. So I will have no barrels here, just individual seeds, and then they'll take the seeds from there and put them into this pile into barrels, because over there you see I still have barrels allowed. And that'll come into play later. The reason is when people go to pick up seeds elsewhere in the fortress, they bring the whole barrel, and then they may not be available for planting. If you have some laying around, then there's always the chance that a job won't be interrupted. Now, I want to put in another zone, so I is zone. Come down to the corner of this room and hit enter once to get it started. Over to the other corner, enter again and light up the whole room. And we're going to make this a pen and pasture. So in, and then we want to set information, so shift in. And what we want to put in here, using the plus and minus keys on our number pad, I want to put in our hens and our gobbler for our turkeys. And when you get to the one you want, you hit enter, and you can see that it lights up with this green marker that it's in that pen. So then the plus sign, enter, plus sign, enter, and we have our 5 turkeys that will be put into this room at some point. And then we can build nest boxes, put in there. They will breed and lay eggs, which we can gather for food. We can put a door in here and lock it, and then they can, when those eggs hatch, we'll have baby turkeys, and then that can turn into a meat and leather production industry for us. Anything else. While we're here, let's click on let's escape, and then click on our injured person. Check on his wounds, W. So his right upper leg is still in bad shape. Now we can go, I want to do something here. We're going to go to the end screen, which is for nobles and administrators. Now right now, Medtab is our expedition leader just because of his ratings and experience. We're going to use our up and down keys. We're going to go to our chief medical dwarf, and we're going to attempt to replace him. And again, up and down keys are going to go through our list, and you can see that our expedition leader is a novice diagnostician. So we're going to highlight him and hit enter, and he's been selected for that role. While we're here, we're going to go ahead and replace our broker. He'll do that job as well. A bookkeeper. Now our mechanic is our record keeper. And then for him, what's important, you notice it's red. He needs an office is required. But we're going to go to settings and then use the up and down keys, and we're going to make all counts accurate. You hit enter to highlight that and select it, and then escape when you're done. So we're done with that for right now. I appoint a manager. That's my organizer right there. What this means is they need a desk to work at. We don't have to get that going right away, but we will have to get it, especially for our bookkeeper. And the reason we want to do this for the chief medical dwarf is if we get out of here, now we can go to Z or Z, and this brings up quite a bit of information. Now, this is something I should have done at the very beginning, is gone to the kitchen, hit enter, and you get there, you get there from your left and right arrow keys, hit enter to select. In this screen, blue means yes, it's okay. Red means it's not okay. So plump helmets we only want for brewing. So we want to turn that off for cooking. So we hit the C button, toggle cook, B would toggle brew. So hit C, it turns it on, C again turns it off. We don't want them cooking our plump helminths because that destroys the seed. All right, we're going to tab, gets to the seed page. All of our seeds, we want to make sure they're not cooking with those, and they're not. Tab again for drinks. We do not want to cook with this. Remember, dwarves drink with alcohol, and they have to have alcohol to survive. So we're going to hit C to toggle cook and turn that off, and use our up and down arrows, and we're going to turn cooking off for all of these. And we'll allow cooking for any meats that we have, meat or fish. Now, you'll notice in here that it has a question mark. That means that these are approximate counts. We don't know exactly, but it's around 20, around 10, around 20. What will fix this is your bookkeeper. You remember we did the bookkeeper here in the Nobles screen, and we did his settings to be the highest precision. So when he actually gets a desk, he will actually get an accurate count for everything in your fortress. And so when you look at that Z screen, that Z screen, you will actually have accurate counts of everything. Make sure using that Z screen here on this overview, you never want to run out of drinks or seeds, and you kind of want to keep an eye on how much food you have. So it's important you get food up and running, which we've got fields getting planted or built right now, and then we can start planting them after the farmer gets in there. And now what we will do is we will build some stock rooms to put our food into, and then we will build some a still for brewing and a kitchen for cooking. So again, to dig out, we go D for designate, D for mine, bring our cursor over using our arrow keys, click on it to get it lit, and figure out where you want to go. And then we're going to come over here, and I'm going to build a stockpile room there with access to it. And again, I wanted just that one, so I double clicked it. I'm going to double click here for another access way. And I'm going to build another stock room there. I like my hallways for the most part 3 wide. This entryway I just made 2. As a point, you remember we built the trade depot up here. It has not been built yet. It's still out here waiting on masonry. And our mason was doing construction work here at the carpenter's shop. So it'll take him a little while. Tyler. And then down here, we want to build a couple of 5x5 rooms. And these are going to be for our stills and our kitchen with our doorway access here. Oh. All right, now, again, you mess up. What do you want to do? You want to remove that designation. So we hit X. We go to the point we want to fix, and we double click it, and now it's gone. You can also click once, and it starts the blinking, and you can wipe out a whole room if you want to. But I want that room there, 5x5, and we're going to also continue this hallway. I'm not going to connect it right now because I want them to focus on all the digging up in this area. And in fact, I'm going to hit X to remove, and I'm going to remove that area as well. I want them to get my stock rooms done first, and then we'll work on the extra rooms. So we'll unpause it, let them get digging there. And while they're doing that, so let's go back to that Z or Z screen, and we can go over to health. Once you've assigned that chief medical officer, you can hit enter, and there's our woodworker. And you can see here he's got T, I, and C. So he needs traction, he needs immobilization, and he needs a crutch. Well, let's see if we can make a traction bench. It's going to be tough, but we can build B, W for workshop. Okay. Now when you hit something, a key for this, it pauses the game automatically. So workshops are under W, lowercase w, somewhere. There we are, workshops, W, and we're going to build I think it's a Dwarf shop. Let's see. We'll see real quick. We'll build that out of a plumb log. So we only need one, so we'll hit enter. And I'm going to go ahead and build a mason shop just in case it's not the Dwarf shop. Put it in another spot, enter, and build that out of a log too. So those guys ought to come build those when they get a moment. Now everything in this game runs linear, so whatever you put in as the first command is the first thing they will do. So he had the commands to build these chests. He will finish those before he comes over to work on anything over here. All right. Now we still have the pending construction of the chest. He was just making one. So as soon as it's made, somebody should carry it over here and put it in for him. And once they do that, then they'll start moving in thread and cloth and other things for bandages, crutches. We had a crutch. We had made a couple of splints. Okay, these are both up. So again, it's kind of hard to see, but you have your Dwarf shop here. You have your mason shop here. So A, and you use the plus and minus keys to move up. All right, it's not in that building. So let's go to the Dwarfs. A, it'll be G. Let me double check. A. Okay, I wonder if it is build workshop T, a mechanics workshop. Let's get that built and see if maybe it's there. I tell you what, we are going to need a table, so we're going to go to the mason, add a rock table is T, and let's go ahead and queue up a few doors as well. And I know we're going to need them, so let's go ahead. We have 4 turkeys. Let's go ahead and make 4 nest boxes here. So again, that was A to add a new task, G to make them out of rock, W if you want to make something out of wood. So we want to make it out of rock, and then I chose nest box. So you go down, hit enter, and it gets added to the list. So that'll be a few things done. All right, we need an empty bucket. So we'll come back up to our carpenter's shop. We're going to add a bucket, which is E, and let's go ahead and make a few buckets. Because we're getting, if you hit A, that goes to your announcements. That's different from your combat reports. And this is, so they're trying to give water, but there's no water, but now there is. When there's water, that it started to thaw out, but they don't have a bucket. So we've got a bucket up here, and let's go ahead and make this a now. So we'll hit the N button, and that'll prioritize it over just about anything. Okay, now you see this here, that was a nest box. I saw him bring that in. So once it's in the stockpile, we can build that. So we're going to build a nest box, which would be Shift N, I believe. Yep, down here at the bottom. So Shift N. And we're going to bring that over into our room that we have our birds in their stockpile. We're going to find a place we want it, and you're just going to enter to place it. If it's green, that means it's in an okay place. And then you can pick which one you want. So if you have multiple, but you want a particular one, and we'll put that in there right there, and unpause it. And once they put it in, then a turkey hen can lay an egg in there. All right, now up here our farm plots have gotten done, so we're going to hit Q, And we're going to come up to the farm plot. There are 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And you can choose which crop based on what seeds you have. The more seeds you have, the more options you will have here. So we're going to go to spring, and you see that lights up, and these are the options. So in spring, I'm going to do one group where I plant plump helmets every season. That's why I brought 51 of them. We're going to go to the other one, go back to spring, and I'm going to do 1 sweet pod, 1 pigtail, 1 cave wheat, and 1 plump helmet. Now, we'll dig out some more farms later on, but this will be enough to get us going. Typically 3 or 4 farms in 5x5 or 4x5 are going to be more than enough to feed your fortress for a long while. At least until you get up to over 100 doors probably. All right, so these guys are going to finish out their mining job. Let's see, did they build? Yes, here's my mechanic shop. So there's traction bench. So I've chose that. So again, that's going to the add, Shift R will put the traction bench, and so they're going to craft that. To build a traction bench, you need a table of some sort, and you saw he just brought the table in, and you need a chain or a rope. So we did have some ropes that we brought with us. Oh, no. Let's see. Cancels traction bench, needs mechanisms. Okay. Well, we do mechanisms here too. So let's make 4 mechanisms, and then we'll make a traction bench. So it canceled the job. It took it off completely. So now they'll do the mechanisms first, and then they'll have the mechanisms to do the table. Now you can see the farmers in here. Let's see, general. He's planting seeds, and you can see how this pixel has changed in these 2 spots. Those are planted crops. So he's planted 3 rows. Now he's going to plant a 4th one. Okay, at this point, let's take kind of a pause, and we're going to, now that we've kind of got things rolling, now we need to set up some guidelines for what we want to do. So we are going to go to O, which is set orders. And this is the way I do it personally. Other people probably do it differently, but I want to go to R for refuse. O, right now dwarves ignore refuse from outside. I want them to gather refuse, but right now they can ignore vermin remains. So, any dead rodents or anything that are outside we'll ignore. I'm going to hit escape to go back. Then I am going to go to F for forbid, and I'm going to hit P to claim any used ammunition. I do that now even though I don't have any ammunition. Dwarfs use crossbows as ranged weaponry. If they shoot the bolt, 2 things can happen. It can either hit or it can miss, and if it misses, it could possibly break. But if they don't break, they're just laying out there. You can pick those up and reuse them and not have to make new ones. So I do that one. We're going to escape to come back, and right now dwarfs all harvest. I'm going to change that to only farmers harvest. The higher your dwarf's farming ability, the quicker he can do this and the more crops he gets out of each harvest. So we want the maximum amount of food. I don't want any unskilled farmers messing around with our food. And we're going to go to W and auto cut gems. Anytime we get gems, once we set up a jeweler shop and have a jeweler in our group, they will go get the gem and cut it immediately. I don't have to worry about that. So those are the 5 things I do at the start when I get going. A lot of times I'll do it right from the embark so I don't forget, as I did here. And since we're doing refuse, we need to set up an area for that. So P and then R for refuse. And we're going to come outside, and we're going to go a little ways away from our entrance. So I'm going to build a refuse pile here. I'm going to hit Q, change my settings, go down to refuse. And these are all the things that will go in there. But I want to forbid bones, shells, teeth, horns, hooves, and hair and wool. And the reason I do that is we'll keep that refuse inside because that's stuff that we can actually use for crafting later on. What we don't want is corpses and arms and legs and heads that get decapitated in combat. So I'm going to go ahead and set up that. So now they'll start picking up any dead animals, moving it over to the side and getting it out of the way. So we're going to unpause it again, let them get back to work. Hopefully they finish off one of these rooms relatively quickly. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to do another stockpile, P and F. Go into the corner, hit enter once, go up to the other corner, enter again, escape. I'm going to hit Q. I'm going to leave barrels at maximum, and I'm going to hit S for change settings. Down to food with our down arrow. We're going to block all, and in this one we are going to allow just drinks. So P, permit drinks from plants and drinks from animals. Our seeds are already going over by our farm, and all I want in this stockpile here is our booze. Okay, and then in this one I'll create a stockpile for all of the rest of our food once they get that done. Now they're almost done here, so I'm going to hit D for designate, D for mining, and then I'm going to click on these two spots and open that up. And another thing that has happened here, you see that we have completed the bridge. It's done. So I want to take, let's see. All right, he's building the rock mechanisms now. I am going to need one rock mechanism for the traction bench. That'll give me 2 left. So let me make 2 more because I need 3 to do what I want to do. And then we'll talk about it. Let's see, B and Shift N should have a couple more nest boxes done. I'm going to skip one spot and place that one. Shift N and place the other one. So there's 3 of our nest boxes. And you can see this white flashing boulder that was in there. That's the egg. That means this turkey has laid an egg in that particular nest box. Our farmer could come in and harvest it if he wasn't busy. As it is, he will get to that at some point. All right, they finished digging out this room, so P and F. So another stockpile, enter once, down to the other corner, escape, Q, change settings, block all. Actually, we're going to allow all, and then we're going to use our up and down arrows, and then when we get to it, the drink, we're going to hit enter. We're going to hit F. F to forbid drinks, forbid animals, forbid seeds. So our seeds have one stockpile, our drinks have one stockpile, and then all the rest of our food has another stockpile. And then we'll talk about prepared foods later on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in right here. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.